hopefully it doesn't get too bright in here because I am about to hang curtains once this live is over. However, it's really, really windy, which you'll also probably hear if you're here for more than a couple seconds, or hear it all. And so apparently it's so windy that the sun keeps coming out, even though I don't even know how the sun can come out at this point because it is solid cloud cover outside. But yeah, number one, it sounds like we are in the middle of like a wind tunnel here because the top of our house gets super, super windy. And this is basically like I look out right here of my office window on the roof of the house, or part of the roof of the house, and the backyard. So this seems to be like the windiest room in the house. But also it goes from like super, super bright, which is why I'm going to be hanging curtains, because right now there are no curtains or blinds in this room, to like it is right now, which it's kind of dark in here, which is nice because I have this light. So anyways, yeah, if it's suddenly blindingly bright, okay, and my ring light decides to like, let's see, what is my ring light's apparently having problems too, which it shouldn't because this is a brand new ring light. Anyways, yeah, if it's suddenly blindingly bright, that's what is going on, and I guess we've established it's windy. Anyways, so I just painted my nails, which was not a great idea because one of the things I want to talk about today is fidgets. Hi Clark, how are you? So I wasn't really thinking, I guess not these. This is one of my favorite fidgets at the moment. But because, hey Gemma, I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I can't really show you until my nails dry, and this is not a quick dry nail polish. Any nail polish that doesn't dry like within a minute, I have a really hard time with because I have a hard time remembering that my nails are still wet. I'm doing well, thank you. But yeah, I ordered, so we got this fidget box, I think I talked about it last week, and so fidgets have been really big in the house right now. This is probably, I like this poppet fidget because of the weight of it, and because it makes little popping sounds, obviously, like other poppets. But it's got me thinking more about fidgets because traditionally, or just throughout life, I mean, growing up, there weren't a lot of actual fidgets that were made for use like this, that were made to keep your hands busy. And I would say probably the thing that I use the most is knitting. And when I'm knitting, it makes it easier for me to gather my thoughts. Hi Janice. When my hands are busy, it's easier for me to think and process thoughts. And we have a lot of fidgets here in the house, but not very many that I actually like more than just what I would use. Like usually growing up, and probably if you have ADHD or are autistic and you grew up in the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, really just any time before fidgets really came into their own, like they have in the last few years, you probably are used to fidgeting with other things, whether it's a nail file or a pen. I think the click top of the pen, or just twirling a pen between your fingers, seems like it's probably just a perpetual fidget. This ring, which I found like 10 for $5 on Amazon, which was really good because Paul likes them too, Patrick likes them, and so these are definitely getting a lot of use around here. Paul took a couple to work. And then, of course, both of the boys really like the ones that are like this. And I like them too. I like them because I like how the ball part right here, it spins, and you can, this part's kind of rough and you can go like that. I don't like all the parts. I don't really like the clicky ones that are loud, but I also really like this part that spins like this right here. Not so much, has a side spinner thing, clicks like that. I think the boys probably like, obviously, the game controller ones more, and I kind of like the not game controller ones. This one, I thought it was interesting how they put like a little button like that. Oh, Clark said he has one like this that's a cube. This one isn't quite a cube. It's, I don't even know what you would call the shape because I'm not sure how many sides it has. But it has even like an on-off switch, which I thought was kind of cool. And these are silicone feeling, so they're squishy and cool. And it even has, I think this is something I like the most about it, is that it has like a rubber band. And I think it's really cool that they make game controller shaped ones for, like, I mean, I just see how that could appeal to kids. It would totally appeal to our boys who love video games. But yeah, I like this one. I wish this one was a little bit heavier metal. I think I would like it even more. This is magnets. And goodbye, nails. I give up. And they come apart and then they go together. And I'm sure there's a lot of more cool things. I just kind of have them in my hand when I'm thinking, when I'm working at my desk, writing. I'll go through these a lot. But yeah, still, I think I probably find myself, what do you suggest to get sensory gadgets, sorry. Jem asked, where do I suggest, I think it was said, because it went away really fast and I don't have my computer up, where do I suggest getting them? I've gotten most of mine on Amazon, and I can't remember what I searched. When I found all of these, pretty much, I was searching for like video game fidget, I think, or video game controller fidget, and then I started going through links to find different ones. And yeah, actually, I think I have a fidget and sensory thing on my, there are a ton online. I have a fidget and sensory section on my Amazon storefront that has all of the ones that we've actually tried and the ones that we actually have listed there so that you can find them easily, because I want to be able to find them too, because I know these things get lost all the time, and so I'm constantly making lists like that. Okay, what I was prepared this time because I knew I would get nervous, so I made a list, and it's such a good idea. Gemma said she needed to update her sensory box. I feel like we're doing that a lot too, because we've had sensory boxes in the past, and it seems like things just disappear out of them, and even the one we have downstairs, things disappear out of it because people, obviously it's meant to be used, people take them to their rooms, and also fidgets a lot of times aren't made really to last. I feel like we've had a lot of fidget spinners break, and I felt like the poppets were pretty sturdy. We have poppets all over the house because they're making so many different cool shapes of them now, like Pokemon shaped ones, unicorn shaped ones, mermaid shaped ones. But what I didn't realize is that our girls have taught me that you can actually press these hard enough. Paul's downstairs with the girls in case you can hear whatever it is that's crashing. I'm guessing that's Tessie. Anyways, you can push these hard enough that they actually come out, and then it's just like a little circle of nothingness. Marita asked, how are the kids enjoying their advent calendars? That has been a very mixed bag, I guess I would say. So with the advent calendars, Patrick loves his. The Funko Pop advent calendar is absolutely a success. It's really, really cool, and the little Funko Pop things are really neat. Every single day is exciting and he loves it. Unfortunately, the Minecraft one for James has not been as, let's see. Okay, I'll answer your question in a second, Kim. Has not been as much of a success because, while Patrick's is a little cute Funko Pop every day, it's like a mini Pokemon Funko Pop, James's, half of the days are stickers. And so James sees his brother getting these really cool Funko Pops, and he gets like a sticker of a Minecraft fox, and he is pretty upset with that, which is one of the ways we've had the fidget box going. He can pick something out of the fidget box on the day he gets stickers, because yeah, he definitely thinks that's wildly unjust, and James has a very huge sense of justice, and so he's been pretty upset about that. Tessie's My Little Pony one is really cute. It's just tiny My Little Ponies, and she likes those. And then I'm trying to think, and Maggie likes hers with the squishy stuff. It's hard to tell if Sadie likes hers because she's a teenager. And yeah, so that is the calendars and how they're going. I would say everyone other than James is more or less a success, especially Patrick. It's the first thing Patrick wants to do in the morning. Yeah, I think next year I might try to figure out something that is the same for both of the boys so that there's less comparison between them. Now, I think it was, hi, I think it was it Steph? Oh, there we go. Kim's question. Kim just asked about taking a break from therapy, I think was the question. It was longer than that, and I didn't get a chance to read it. So if I get it wrong, Kim, you can comment again or ask more questions. For us, we have seen real benefits to taking breaks from therapy over the years, and right now James is actually in a break. James has physical therapy. It's both for like tightness on his right leg and the right side of his body, and for weakness. Ever since, since he was born, the right side of his body has been weaker than the left side of his body. Without a reason. He's had MRIs. There's no medical reason that they could find. Last year they finally did an EMG, which was super unpleasant because he's also kind of very touch avoidant, sensitive nerves. And so, yeah, it wasn't fun, but his neurologist thought that we finally needed to have it done, and we put it off for, 6 years since he was little when we started talking about it, and they finally thought that we needed to do it, and it showed normal, I think, nerve responses. I think that was what was being measured. It was a while ago. But James has been in physical therapy, and he's always made big gains while he's in physical therapy, but his physical therapists have also seen the benefits of taking breaks in between. And I'm sure this isn't the same for everyone, but for us it has been. He made all of his goals, but at the same time, while he was making all of his goals this last time, which was right before COVID started, and actually through COVID, it was through COVID that he was doing physical therapy at a local hospital. And he made a lot of gains both in strength and flexibility. And it was interesting to see because like on his left leg, he can just hop up and down on one leg all day. And on his right leg, when we started, we were working on him even standing on his right leg. So that's the difference in strength between the two sides, especially in his legs. And they've talked about orthotics. His physical therapist talked about orthotics and said she wanted to give him some more time, and she put him on another break and said that if his doctor feels like it, we can come back again. It's usually neurology that sends him in. When we have a neurology appointment, he'll write another physical therapy slip, and that the next time we might consider orthotics again. He's had 2 pairs of orthotics in the past, but he was really little, like when Tessie was a newborn, so like 5 years ago. But this time that they would be doing orthotics, they thought the best orthotics would probably be the ones that go all the way up to his knees, which he has never had before. And they wanted to do that when he was in school, when he would be up all day. So that has not happened yet, and I don't know if that will ever happen. But yeah, James is on a break from physical therapy now. The first time he had physical therapy, he was 7 months old because he was just a super flexible, super floppy baby. He did everything, lifted his head up late, sat super late. For a long time he was eating solid foods, but he couldn't sit up yet, and so we would feed him in his car seat because that was the only way that he could eat. And we did a lot of like squeezy packets because that was also, he could eat in squeezy packets. Anyways, I know that's kind of sidetracked, but hopefully that kind of answers your question. I would not feel bad. I feel like sometimes having a break from therapies and just kind of doing things at home and playing, seeing if you incorporate that in a more fun way, that's less, I guess, like a clinical setting, that it can be good, that when you go back, the kid has more energy, and I think it's totally okay to take a break. And sometimes kids click better with some therapists than others. I really love the therapist that worked with James for physical therapy, but at the same place, the girls they had really good occupational therapists there, but I think they got less out of it than when they were at this other place that specialized in autism that they went to for OT and speech, and they just really seemed to get more out of it there. So yeah, absolutely, it's okay to take a break. I think it can be good for kids to have a break, just like summer. Good morning, Ash, you made it. yeah, I think breaks can definitely be a good thing. Gemma asked if there's a way to make explaining autism easier to doctors. That is a hard one. Because I have personally found, since being diagnosed, that different doctors have very different reactions, and that there are definitely doctors that will treat you differently once they find out you're autistic. Some doctors treated me differently for a little bit and then went back to being kind of normal. Like, I don't know, it was like nothing had changed, which is good. It was good when it went back. Ash's, I'm going to go back to you, Gemma, but Ash's 2-year-old has her autism evaluation coming up, which is awesome. Ash, you'll definitely have to let us know how that goes. Back to the doctor question, because I don't want to forget it. Yeah, it's just really, really hard. And I think it also depends on what you're talking about. I think the one thing for me is it's been really important to find a doctor that understands it and that listens, and I've been lucky in that we go to Michigan State on campus for our family doctor, and he's really great. He's really understanding. He's the one who sent me for my autism evaluation, and when I went to him about it, you may already know the story from the videos that I've made, but I started to suspect that I was autistic when Sadie was diagnosed, because a lot of things about Sadie reminded me of myself now and when I was younger. And so when she was diagnosed, it was kind of like an aha moment. And so I went and asked my doctor, and I was so nervous about asking my doctor. I see him pretty regularly because I have anxiety and depression. So I see him every, 3 to 6 months. It's not super regularly, but I didn't make a special appointment for it. I just went in and I asked him if he thought it was at all likely that I was autistic. And I expected him to maybe laugh and say no. And instead he said he thought that was extremely likely, which shocked me. and he made the referral right away. He wasn't sure if our insurance would cover it. We were very lucky in that it did. And we were also really fortunate in that there was a psychologist nearby at a psychiatry center where there's a woman who is really good about autism. Gemma's question, had to do with explaining to the doctor autism and feeling pain. And honestly, I have more and more just started being really, I guess, brutally honest in what I'm feeling, and not what I'm feeling, but in saying like I'm autistic and I feel things differently. I had a doctor who got really upset at me once when I was hospitalized because my biggest symptom, they said what hurts the most, and even though it was a respiratory thing, what always hurts the most for me is that my skin will hurt when I get sick. And I always thought that was how everybody was, that everyone's skin hurts when they get sick. And at the time I didn't know that, and I wasn't diagnosed. And so when I said my skin hurt, she was like, what do you mean your skin hurts? That was like not an option on the list of symptoms. And it was just my skin hurt. And there's an actual name for it that I think I saw on Autistic Cats. I think that they did a post about it. I'm not totally sure, on Instagram, which probably means it was on Twitter too. But anyways, yeah. So, but I didn't know the name for it. I didn't know that. I didn't know. Yeah. Any of that stuff. So yeah, now I just try to say like I'm autistic. Some things are different for me, and hopefully you're able to find a doctor that understands that, because there are some that just won't, and there are others who are really great about it. So I think part of it is if you're able to find a doctor who understands, that can help hugely. And Ash asked about nutritional supplements, and for us, we haven't seen any like serious difference in the beginning. Back when I was also really caught up in the gluten-free and dairy-free, casein-free, which did not I regret doing. It didn't really help any of our kids, and only made more severe food aversions for our kids, because then they didn't, once we tried to go back on things, they didn't want to eat a lot of the things anymore because they weren't used to them, because we did really strict gluten-free, casein-free for a couple of years. And I wouldn't recommend that unless you have like a medical reason to do it, like an allergy. But we did at the same time a lot of supplements, and there for us wasn't a noticeable difference unless there's like a deficit. Like Maggie and Tessie have both had vitamin D deficiencies where they've needed to take vitamin D, lots and lots of vitamin D, and that has helped. But otherwise we didn't see a huge difference. We have like, my kids take multivitamins and Maggie takes vitamin D. But other than that, we have not seen a benefit in the past when I did that to taking those. Yeah. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. I should pick this up because I definitely think better when I have a fidget in my hand. A lot of people have asked about whether or not I worry about my kids it ruining the surprise that I have the Christmas videos up, Christmas presents and stocking videos. And I'll admit, I was a little bit nervous about people saying stuff to Sadie because at Sadie's school, people have discovered our page, our channel, and sometimes ask her about it and stuff like that. And so I was afraid that people would mention what she was getting, because Sadie, I don't think will go and watch it. She just, it's kind of like just a fact of life, and that we have a channel, and I've asked her if she has a problem with it, and I ask her about what I post and stuff like that, and she actually encouraged me when a while ago I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep going on with our channel, which I never shared here, but I was kind of feeling unsure about whether it was the right thing to do, and she was actually the one who really strongly encouraged me to keep going when I was not feeling really that up to it. And so I was a little bit worried about someone like ruining the surprise for Christmas for Sadie. Maggie, I knew that as soon as the presents video went up, Maggie was gonna watch it, and she did. I saw her watching it a few times, which is okay, because honestly, if she didn't know what the presents were, she would probably try harder to find out what they were. And almost every year she has found her presents in the past. And this year she hasn't really, Sadie is such a sweet kid, Ash, yeah. Oh, Clark, I will get back to your question on insurance and diagnosis in just a second. But yeah, I knew that the two that always want to know what their presents are James and Maggie, and I knew that if they don't see them on the channel, that they will be on a quest to find them. And actually, the presents are wrapped and in the closet in my office right now already, because of James, mostly because James in the past has found the presents. He's just too smart for his own good sometimes, and so yeah. I knew that one way or another James will find out. And the other thing is, for some of our kids, James mostly, surprises aren't that good of a thing. Surprises are kind of upsetting. And I think that this is a specific part of autism for some people, because I can be like that sometimes too, where I don't really love surprises, even presents. And I know that's not everybody. I've kind of wondered if it's a PDA thing. There's some PDA test that I saw shared on a PDA page that I follow, and I know it's not a diagnosis in the US, but I scored like 70 on it, and I think over 40 was like, you very likely have, what is it? It's a pervasive demand avoidance. I might have said that wrong. If you know, you can put it in the comments. I should know, I just always think PDA. And anyways, I think at least James and I probably have that, and I've wondered if it was a PDA thing, because he gets upset immediately when he's given a present if he doesn't already know what it is, and then about 10 minutes later he's fine and he loves it. But the act of like getting a present is upsetting, and so him knowing beforehand what his presents are a big deal. And I figure they still have to wait. You hear the wind, it's windy. They still have to wait to get them on Christmas morning, so Christmas morning is still a big deal and is still super exciting. And now I hate ADHD sometimes. My working memory really is not good. Clark, if you want to ask that question again, I'm sorry. If you're still here and you ask that question again, I will answer it because I've already completely blanked on what it is and I can't see the comments once. Oh, maybe I can see the comments. Hold on. No. Top chat, live chat. Oh, chat view, live chat. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Okay, what would I have done if my insurance didn't cover diagnosis? That is a good question. I was thinking about saving up for it because it definitely wasn't something that we could cover out of pocket just because I wanted to know. So I think it was something that I would have saved up for. I'd thought if I saved up for it, I think I would have probably made an appointment at University of Michigan and gone there and seen, but it probably would have been big saving up to do it, and it would have taken a while. So it was definitely a relief that it was covered. I was shocked that it was covered. I still actually, right now I'm supposed to, even though I was diagnosed 2 years ago, and the main suggestion of the doctor who diagnosed me was ADHD meds, I still have not been able to get ADHD meds because nobody wants to risk prescribing them with drug interactions with the antidepressant that I'm on. And so I am supposed to find a psychiatrist who is in network who will prescribe them because there are ones that can be prescribed, but it's like general practice doctors. My general practice doctor doesn't want to, wants to be someone who knows drug interactions better than he does because he's being abundantly cautious. And so it's a little bit frustrating. Okay, Clark, you might want to actually see the way that, okay, so the way that I found out that my insurance covered it was my doctor didn't think that it would cover an adult diagnosis of autism. And that's part of the reason I didn't think it would, just because, yeah, I just didn't think it would. And then I asked the place that my doctor referred me to, and they, I think they got back to me. It was supposed to be the sort of thing, in the paperwork it says that I was supposed to call my insurance. So I guess that's another way you could do it, is call your insurance, although sometimes, I don't know. I really don't like talking to insurance, so I know that's difficult. But I found out by calling the place and making the appointment and asking them to check and see, and I would have canceled the appointment or put it off long term until I had enough money for it, if that was kind of my plan. And then they said everything was covered, and that was super surprising. I think that a lot of parents are on the spectrum. Ash made a comment about being on the spectrum too, and I would not be surprised at all. I feel like there are so many parents of kids who are also autistic, and don't know because it wasn't something that was really known very much about, at least by most doctors when we were kids. So yeah, I do think that there's a lot of parents, and it's funny because I'd say one of the more frequent comments that I get on here is parents who say, oh, that's not an autism thing, I do that too, and I'm just kind of like, because, yeah. I do think that it's very genetic, and I wonder, I'm really curious about the actual percentages of parents who are autistic and children who are also autistic, because it kind of like me and Paul having 5 kids and they're all autistic. I would think that the odds of us, if we had another child, which we're not planning to do, I'm not pregnant, just to be completely clear, since that has come up. Yeah, I think that probably autistic people are way more likely to have autistic kids, and I think that if a child is diagnosed, there's probably a fair chance that at least one parent is also autistic, maybe both, because I think that, or at least, is it neurodivergent? I always say it wrong. neurodivergent, that at least that I think a lot of time ND people marry each other. Not always, obviously, but a lot of times they do. Like someone with autism or someone who is autistic and someone with ADHD gets married, or different near ND. I don't even know what to call it. Yeah, so I think that that's really common, and I think that probably the percentage, that the percentages of people who are autistic have autistic kids. I wish there was really a number for that. I understand why there's not, because in the past, a lot of us weren't diagnosed. And yeah, for people who, like, I think it seems to me a lot of the time when people think that they're autistic, they end up being autistic, because I don't feel like it's something that neurotypical people wonder about as much. I don't think very many neurotypical people are like, I think I might be autistic. Yeah. So when people tell me that they think that they are probably autistic, I believe them. And I think that is also one reason why self-diagnosis is important, that it's accepted, because it's so prohibitive. Getting diagnosed is so hard for so many people. Yeah. Anyways, I guess that is, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, there is one more thing. Somebody asked last week about anxiety, and we definitely have kids with anxiety. I think that, it just seems like anxiety goes really hand in hand with both autism and ADHD. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Just sensory overload, social overload, just the expectations for someone who is autistic and ADHD don't match up with what we're exposed to every day and what's expected of us every day. So we have some kids who we have some kids who talk with a counselor, and that has been really helpful, and the counselor helps them deal with, helps them understand more about like emotions and breathing exercises and all that stuff. And so that has been very, very helpful for all of us. I talk to a therapist once a week, and she is awesome, and she's actually ND also. So yeah. Yeah, anxiety, anxiety has been hard for me, because I always thought of anxiety as a feeling, and so when I was actually diagnosed with anxiety, I was kind of surprised. It's kind of like with depression. Like for me, depression is not a feeling. I'm not sad. It's usually getting worse when I'm just short-tempered and tired all the time, and that's how I know that it's getting out of hand for me. And when that rolls back, it's better. Anyways, I'm not sure I answered that really, but yeah, we have definitely, I think autism frequently goes hand in hand with anxiety. Not always, and some people are better at coping than others, but and sometimes medication, like in my case, helps hugely, because it's also kind of a chemical imbalance in the brain. Anyways, I know I talked for over a half an hour. Thank you guys all for hanging out with me, and I will see you next week. Oh, really quick. Also, I'm going to do a live stream later on over on Amazon, and I believe the link for the shop is down below in the description. The description I think should be there for the lives, in the upload defaults. Anyways, this one. So I'm doing once a week a live stream over there also, for anyone who wants to know. You can also follow over there. It's weird to me. Followers on Amazon is a really weird concept for me, but I am trying to do more stuff over there also. Anyways, but I will always be here, I think. I have no plans. Sadie talked me down, and I have no plans to end my channel anytime soon. She is a really cool kid. Anyways, that is it for today, and I will talk to you guys live again next Saturday. The plan is 11. I've got to figure out how to schedule it so that it's like up like other people do. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I need to watch a tutorial. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.